Alright guys, time to go up here back again today. Hope you're enjoying your day so far, and today we're going to talk about 100 Thieves and where their involvement might lie right now for the CDL 2021. A couple of days ago, Jake Lucky did this video with an update on the Chicago Huntsmen NRG Optic Gaming Los Angeles situation, where Nadeshot and 100 Thieves were potentially interested in buying that Optic Gaming Los Angeles spot off of Hector, having bought that kind of off his own back, and maybe with the intention of looking to bring that Optic Gaming branding over to the Chicago Huntsmen brand instead and kind of get rid of that brand entirely. It seems like the CDL maybe have said no to that, which potentially means the Hector and co might bring all the family over effectively to Optic Gaming Los Angeles, as we discussed yesterday. And where could that potentially leave Nadeshot? Of course, if he is looking to get in on the LA Thieves or whatever, maybe he'll have to buy a spot which isn't in Los Angeles, which wouldn't be ideal. And as we're going to talk about in the coming minutes here, maybe the board of directors anyway has kind of said, look, we don't really have the money to go in for this right now, and that might leave them in a tough position when they do have the money a couple of years down the line, when maybe an LA spot is no longer on the table. Intrigued to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you are new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. Before we get into that, couple of Rostermania things. Waskin says this yesterday: if you want a serious contender, then bang my line. Stop playing games. I'll be speaking French tomorrow, no problem at all. So Waskin's certainly far from guaranteed to get anywhere right now, so he tweets this out of the Paris Legion. A couple of hours later he says this: so God is good. Who knows what's going on? Maybe Paris finally hit him up and said, look, we want to move in this direction. I'm not sure what's going on. I've heard that maybe Paris are looking to put together their roster over the next couple of weeks or so, but I've heard so many names related to this Paris team, I really do not know the direction that they want to move with. So, you know, and I'm not even sure if they really want any starting French players anymore. I honestly have no clue what Paris are doing. When we get the updates, though, we'll be talking about them on this channel, no problem at all. We also got this yesterday from Tommy, not exactly sure what this refers to, but he says, I don't think I've ever been this excited for an announcement regarding my future. I feel like a little kid all over again, so I have no idea whether this is a playing thing, whether he's going to be working for a team in some manner, but yeah, stay tuned for this one, because Tommy, a legendary European Call of Duty player, killed it on the Warzone side last season and was also a substitute on the Dallas Empire, and Tommy's a great guy, so I'd love to see him land somewhere exciting. So this was the video that Jake Lucky came out with a couple of days ago, talking mainly about the NRG and Hex situation, but something that was very interesting that he discussed at the start was 100 Thieves. Now, Nadeshot was very much interested in buying this Optic Gaming Los Angeles team off of Hector Rodriguez that seems to have bought it, but the board of directors said, look, maybe we're overextended, you know, it's just not going to happen, and well, it was effectively turned down in that requirement, as I say right here, to try and sum things up. 100 Thieves wanted OGLA, but 2 cash straps to execute. So, you know, if this is indeed the case, and it's also the case that if Huntsmen are not being able to rebrand to Optic Gaming, then Hector and co are now going to be moving down to Optic Gaming Los Angeles. He's bought a place there. It makes sense. You guys were correcting me in the comment section below yesterday. It's the San Francisco Shock, the Overwatch League team, but also the Sacramento Kings. Andy Miller also has investment in. So it might make sense that they try and move everyone to OGLA and somehow make that work, right? And if that is the case, what's going to happen to the Chicago Huntsmen? Does a new investor group have to come in and buy out Chicago Huntsmen? I imagine that if there's one thing the 100 Thieves and Nadeshot do not want to do, it's to buy out the Chicago Huntsmen, right? Because we're effectively going to get maybe an Optic Mark II situation where the new investor group, like Immortals was for Optic Gaming originally, comes in and, well, it's a shadow of its former self in a sense. And I'm sure the 100 Thieves don't want to go down that route, especially if they're not allowed to use the Thieves branding, which I'm sure Nadeshot does want to use. So, well, I'll just share the clip with you guys and, well, let me know what you think.
Take this with a grain of salt, guys. I do trust my source, but anything can happen, and still nothing is guaranteed or 100% as of right now. I was told right off the bat, though, that yes, there were several buyers contacted for that LA spot. Nadeshot was at the top of the list of someone who could actually buy that spot, and apparently he was all in, but he had to convince a board, the 100 Thieves board, to actually, of course, go in with the investment, which it seems they might still be financially strapped. If you guys are 100 Thieves fans out there hoping for LA Thieves to be a thing, it does not seem likely.
So then, of course, this Optic Envoy thing kind of threw a spanner in the works yesterday, meaning that maybe this Optic Gaming Los Angeles team is no longer up for grabs. The initial report that came out from Kevin Hitt said that, look, Hex is looking to bring the Optic Gaming branding over to the Chicago Huntsmen, and then, well, rebrand the Huntsmen entirely, and then divest the Optic Gaming Los Angeles spot to another interested party. But that may not be the case anymore. They may not have allowed him to rebrand, but even if they, you know, if they have, let's say, then OGLA might still be on the market for new investors, and Nadeshot seems to be very happy to go with it, but maybe they're just in a difficult position right now as an organization. And then you've got to ask the question, well, look, if in a couple of years' time the league might have expanded already to like 16 teams, 100 Thieves are going to have to pay a lot more money to get into the league. They're not going to have a Los Angeles spot, I imagine, unless they can somehow buy out like Los Angeles Grillers or whatever, right? And, you know, it just brings up big questions questions, right? Because if the 100 Thieves don't get in now, then where is the future potential for this organization? Because we'd love them to be back in Call of Duty to some capacity, but now is really the perfect opportunity to actually get your hands on a team where you want it to be. But I'm sure things are very, very complicated indeed behind the scenes as well. Jacob, like you mentioned, this as well yesterday was pretty interesting. So 100 Thieves has joined CAA, the Creative Artists Agency, so they certainly might have some big things in the works. And also we've got to talk about what 100 Thieves have been up to lately on the side of the other esports. This may be why the board of directors just thinks they don't have the money right now to put up 25 mil, even more, whatever it's going to be, to actually buy this spot. And as Nadeshot says, it's been a pleasure, boys. So a few days ago, they released their CSGO team. Wasn't necessarily for the reasons of just cost cutting, but well, North American CS isn't in a great spot right now. These guys wanted to go over and play in Europe, and well, Nadeshot and 100 Thieves just could not facilitate that, so they end up parting ways. However, though, a few days before that, they did announce their 100 Thieves Valorant team, and well, Valorant has a lot of money pouring into it right now. If you guys know, I think a lot of these organizations are betting on Riot Games creating a great esports ecosystem for Valorant, even though it's a very, very new game indeed. But they're expecting, frankly, a lot of these orgs to well, that Riot Games are going to do a similar thing that they've managed to do with League of Legends going forwards. But well, they've got a full team here. They bought Nitro over from CSGO, Hiko, of course, Steel as well, and some other guys that I'm not too familiar with. But yeah, this team is very, very highly paid. Like, these guys are getting like 30 grand a month, if not more than that, to be honest. The salaries in Valorant are out of control. So a lot of money is going into Valorant for a lot of organizations right now. And yes, they did get rid of their CS team, but the investment in Valorant means that, you know, do they still have any money left over, frankly, to invest into the Call of Duty League as well, especially given how much of a risk I suppose they're taking going all in on Valorant, as they seem to be. So yeah, very interesting question. Of course, the other side of things is this Dr. Disrespect situation and what's potentially going on here. Could we even see like a partnership of sorts between the two of them? Because yeah, very much a question right now as to what Dr. Disrespect wants to do. He said a couple of times about like the San Diego speed or whatever, but he's also mentioned more recently, so yeah, definitely the San Diego team, looks like Dr. Disrespect actually wants to be involved in that. But he said more recently that he doesn't necessarily want to just own the team, he wants to be more of like a shareholder in the organization that actually owns the team. So I don't know if these guys could come up with any like partnership or something, the San Diego Thieves. I don't know if that really works, and well, Doc probably wants to name it after his own kind of branding and maybe think a little bit bigger in that sense. But definitely something interesting to keep in the back of your mind, because this season it's going to stay at 12 teams, but next season it's definitely going to expand. And the teams in which it's going to expand to are very much up in the air right now, and maybe then 100 Thieves are in a position to actually get into the league. But if they do, what city would they even go to? What branding would they be able to use? United tweeted this out yesterday, so these coordinates related to the Chicago Huntsmen, or at least related to Chicago more generally. So yeah, maybe they're interested in getting involved in buying Chicago Huntsman spots. Would Nation 100 Thieves want to do that? Maybe if they could rebrand it, but if they're not letting NRG and Hector rebrand it, then why would they let Nation 100 Thieves brand it the Chicago Thieves or whatever? And they probably don't want to be in Chicago anyway, given everything they've got is based out of Los Angeles. So, you know, remarkable situation, quite frankly, and a really crazy off-season. Just thought I'd finish off with a couple of things. This that came out from Breaking Point yesterday with a total Pro Series win-loss of 64-18 in his career. Simp has dominated the competition. Thought this was pretty remarkable, actually. So in Black Ops 4, he had a 36-9, you know, like win-loss over his career. This last season, it was 28-9. But yeah, 1.24 KD with the sub in hand since he arrived on the scene in London, then went through Anaheim, and then the rest of the year, the World Championship scores that they won. Yeah, this honestly just remarkable, as Simp says. Black Ops 4 Simp, greater than. And he does, of course, hold a very scary prospect indeed for next season Call of Duty play on the Atlanta FaZe again, alongside a BZ, Celium, and Arzies. What a team that could potentially be. Thought I'd finish off with this absolutely hilarious clip that came out yesterday. If you haven't seen this yet, it's going to catch you off guard. Thank you for watching the video as always. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it or learned something new, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm know you enjoyed this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well and help grow the Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always, and I will see you next time.
Oh shit, he just came on my face. Oh shit, he just came on my face.
Balcon.
Attends, venez on va bien, j'ai ma stun. Venez, allô.
Non, c'est la bombe.
C'est ça qui a posé, c'est pas lui qui a posé, je crois.
J'arrive dans leur dos, Ici, lui.
Non,
il m'a baisé avec une stun, ils sont tous là, 3P1. Vas-y, va jouer.
Nice.
C'est quel autre team?
Il drague.
Une balle.
Pardon? Good shot. Wesh. Good shot, tue-moi. Non, sérieux.